fire don't ask me where I've been. It burns the same for guilty men. I laid my name down in the dust, left everything I loved to rust. The road don't end, it just goes dark. I carry nothing but this scar. Your voice still rides the desert wind. I can't forget, and I can't begin. The quiet holds the flame. Out here where no one knows my name, I burn but I don't break. I carry all this weight. The quiet holds the flame. Through younger years, through broken towns and borrowed fears, I traded laughter for the dark. Now silence lives inside my heart. The quiet holds the flame. Out here where no one knows my name, I burn but I don't break. I carry all this weight. The quiet holds the flame. The fire don't ask me where I've been. It burns the same for guilty men. I laid my name down in the dust, left everything I loved to rust. The moon don't care who walks below. She lights the road and lets you go. I've been walking since the fall, got nowhere left to go at all. The road don't end, it just goes dark. I carry nothing but this scar. Your voice still rides the desert wind. I can't can't forget, and I can't begin. These hands have held and let go twice, paid every sin it's asking price. And now silence lives inside my chest, and I confess I failed the rest. The quiet holds the flame out here where no one knows my name. I burn but I don't break, I carry all this weight. The quiet holds the flame. I built a fire on holy ground, but holy ground can't hold me down. I asked the Lord for one more chance. He gave me wind and a lonesome dance. The quiet holds the flame out here where no one knows my name. I burn but I don't break, I carry all this weight. The quiet holds the flame. The flame holds the quiet. The quiet holds. I keep a stone inside my coat. The river gave it when you wrote that final letter, cold as clay, the day you finally walked away. It's smooth and gray and fits my palm. It holds me when I need the calm. When everything comes crashing in, I reach inside and hold it again. Some men carry gold, some men carry names. I carry something heavy that don't have any claim. Stone in my pocket, weight I chose to keep. Stone in my pocket, heavier than sleep. every field I cross, this stone reminds me daily what it costs to lose. The autumn turned the fields to brown. The last year that you stayed in town, I watched you pack your mother's quilt, and I stood still, wrapped up in guilt. I should have spoken, should have tried. Instead I swallowed all my pride. Now I talk to stones and empty roads and carry all these borrowed loads. Stone in my pocket. Throw this stone away into a river far away, and when it sinks beneath the blue, maybe I'll finally let go of you. Stone someday. I came back to this gravel road, 20 years beneath my load. The house is different, change the paint, but mercy don't have the same restraint. The oak tree still stands in the yard, grown wide and tall and battle scarred, just like the ones I left behind when I made up my wandering mind. My mother's hair's turned to white, my brother don't look at me right. The children that he raised are grown, and I'm a stranger in my own home. But she came out to meet me there, my sister with the silver hair. She put her hand on my old face and said, "Son, this is still your place." Gravel-born mercy, not the golden kind. Gravel-born mercy, worn by years and time, not the clean forgiveness porch boards, talking through our unpaid debts and lords. And when the dawn came orange and white, we'd settled most of what we'd left inside. Gravel bone, mercy comes even to men like me. They said the dark would swallow me like it swallowed all before. I've been down to where the light ends, crawled back through every door. I'm not the cleanest kind of man, but I ain't finished yet. Got a long way left to travel and some long debts to collect. The valley where they left me wasn't empty as they thought. I found the things they'd buried there. I found what couldn't rot. Crossed, and every bridge they burned behind me only counted what I'd lost. I've been the dark, I don't break under it. I've been the dark, I've learned to carry it. You can send the storm, you can send the cold, but I've been the dark. Open hands, not begging, just receiving what this life still demands. I've been the dark, There's dust upon the Bible, she kept beside the bed. I haven't had the heart to clean it since the morning she was dead. The marker's still in Revelations at the verse she loved the most, where the new world comes in silence, like a gentle healing ghost. I read it some nights when it's heavy, when the dark gets in too deep. I read the words she underlined there in the margins where she'd weep. She believed in every letter more than I could ever do. Now I sit here in her silence, trying to believe it too. Dust on the Bible, her fingerprints still there. Dust on the Bible, her handwriting in the margin of prayer. I'm not a man of steady faith, but I hold this book to my chest, and I think that maybe somewhere she's finally at rest. Some days I talk to her out loud, like she's sitting in that chair. I tell her about the small things, how I still leave her cup there. There's dust upon the Bible, her hand was just there. I learned my trade in a metal shop, where the sparks fell down like snow. Where men were measured by the will they left on everything below. My father taught me with his hands, not his tongue, not his words. just the way he held the rod to steel and let the metal burn. They closed the shop in '09, said the work had moved away. I sat in the parking lot till dark, didn't know what else to say. 30 men with 30 trades, scattered to the wind. Every one of us still wakes at 6, from muscle, memory, and skin. Weld my name into this steel, so something that I touched is real. Weld my name, let it hold against the rust, against the cold. A man should leave a mark somehow, something stronger than his doubt. Weld my name into this ground. My son asked me what I was good for in this new and glowing world. I showed him how to hold a rod and let the future unfurl. Well, my name still still here. You never asked me for a thing, you only asked that I'd stay in. But I was built to leave, it seems. A man constructed out of leaving. You kept the house and raised the boys. You filled the quiet with your noise. You were the load-bearing wall that kept this whole thing from its fall. Noticed you in small moments, the way you turned the kitchen light, the cup of coffee left for me when I came home too late at night. These were the love I didn't name. These were your quiet, stubborn claim on me and everything I'd grown in all the years we'd made a home. Load-bearing heart, holding up the frame. Load-bearing heart, never once complained. I built my outside your beams, didn't see the architecture, till everything was standing still. And I finally understood what you'd held for me with your load-bearing heart. Gone now 3 years come the fall, and still the house ain't falling at all, because you built it strong enough to hold me through the hardest stuff. Load-bearing heart, still holding. I took the things I couldn't keep down to the river cold and deep. The letters and the photograph, the half of what we had is half. One by one I let them go into the current, dark and slow. Watch the water take each piece, and wondered if that's what they call peace. The river doesn't ask your name, it treats the innocent the same as those of us who carry blame, who build ourselves a paper flame. There is no court beside this water, just the stones and the otter that bend the bank, the graying sky, and whatever it is that makes men cry. Stone in the river, sinking down to find its rest. Stone in the river, I am finally dispossessed of all the weight I carried from that town, from that year. Stone in the river, sinking clear. stood there till the moon came out, and the river answered all my doubt. Not with words, but with its sound, that constant moving on of ground. Stone in the river, finally at rest. I don't know how to kneel right. My knees are built for concrete floors, not the carpets of the churches or the marble corridors. So I pray with what I've got here: two bent hands and a crooked back, and a lifetime of wrong turning that I can't ever take back. I lost the job in February, lost the truck by early spring, lost my temper in the kitchen, lost just about everything. But I haven't lost the wanting to be better than I am. Lord, if you're still listening, I'm not asking you to understand. Crowbar prayer, that's all I've got. Crowbar prayer, bent and hot. No golden words, no polished tongue, just this crowbar prayer from my collapsed lung. Take it, Lord, or leave it here, but this crowbar prayer is all that's real. My daughter's 7th birthday, I missed it by a day. I sat outside the parking lot, couldn't figure how to say that her father loves her fiercely in the broken way men do. Crowbar prayer, still swinging. broke down outside of Laredo, left me stranded on the plain. I fixed it spoke by spoke in darkness in the middle of the rain. And something in that slow repair reminded me of who I was before I started taking shortcuts, before I lost sight of the cause. A wheel don't ask for recognition, it just turns or it don't turn. And a man who's broken badly has to make the same return to the simple act of turning spoke by spoke and day by day. Not the grand gesture or the gesture, just the wheel along the way. Spoke by spoke, I put it back together. Spoke by spoke, against the weather. Not because the road was easy, not because the load was light. Spoke by spoke, I keep on turning through the long unbroken night. Say, son, pick up the pieces and rebuild them into turn. Spoke by spoke, still turning. My family don't show it much, the softness underneath the touch. My grandfather built barns with his hands and never spoke of distant lands. My father fixed what others threw away. Kept his grief in a drawer one day. I found it after he was gone, a pressed flower and a letter torn. And me, I learned the language too, of doing more than talking. Feelings that run deep as bone, that make a house feel less like home. But I've got a daughter now who asks me to remove these iron masks. And when she climbs into my arms, I feel the steel beneath the warm steel under skin. Not a flaw, but a story. Steel under skin, handed down through glory and through grief and through everything the years did in. I carry all my people. Steel under skin. One night I told her that I loved her more than iron, more than stone. She looked at me and said, I know, Dad, you show me every day at home. Steel under skin, softening now. Just a little. Some men plant a flag and stay. They watch the years from the same doorway. They know their neighbors and their roads, and carry only local loads. I used to envy that stillness, like a tree rooted to the ground. But I was built for the long crossing, for the leaving, not the found. I've seen the sunrise over oceans and the desert turning red. I've slept in cars and borrowed kitchens, on 1,000 borrowed beds. And every time the road stretched forward, I was the first to go, leaving good things, always leaving, planting nothing, watching it grow. The road that stays with me isn't made of gravel. It's inside my chest, where the wandering travels. I am the road that stays, even when I'm moving, even when I'm lost. is always proving that I was born to cross. Lord, tonight I'm sitting easy with the miles behind me wide, and I thank you for this wandering, for all it taught inside. The road that stays inside. I learned the Lord inside a workshop, not inside a painted church. Between the grain of honest lumber and the giving of the lurch, when the hammer finds the nail true, there's a rightness in the sound, like a prayer that's been answered before it's even wound. My pastor says the Lord is elsewhere, up above and set apart, but I find him in the sawdust, in the blistered working heart, in the weight of what's been lifted, in the level and the plumb, in the finished thing that wasn't before my hands had come. The hammer and the holy aren't as far apart as told. The hammer and the holy both demand you give your whole. Every true stroke of the hammer is a prayer sent through the grain. Every honest piece of labor calls the holy by its name. When they lay me in the churchyard, Let them put a hammer there, not a cross, not a lily, just the tool of honest prayer. Last light over Laramie turns everything to gold. The buildings in the water tower, and the story's getting old. I've been here 7 winters, long enough to call it mine, long enough to learn which bar stools bear my shape along the line. Marie at the diner knows my order. Tom the sheriff knows my face. Billy at the hardware store has saved my part, kept my space. But the road has started calling in the language that I know. And I've never been the kind of man who had the strength to say no. Last light in Laramie, touching everything I'll miss. Last light in Laramie, let me hold a moment like this. I'll take you in my memory, I'll carry every face. Last light in Laramie, I've been lucky in this place. I left a note at Marie's counter, said I'd write when I was through. She won't get a letter, I know it. She knows it too. But she smiled and packed me sandwiches and said, boy, you come back sometime. And I drove through that golden last light, carrying Laramie inside. Last light in Laramie, last light. Laramie. Fire don't teach you in the burning, it teaches in the cooling down. When the ashes hold the outline of the thing that once was around. I've burned a dozen of my decades in the fires of my own making, and every time the cooling came, I learned something in the taking. The first fire taught me I was fragile, the second that I could survive, the third that love was not a given, the fourth that I was still alive. The fifth and sixth ran close together. They taught me what I'd passed along, and every fire after that one taught me how to make it strong. The fire teaches what the sun can't say. The fire teaches in the cool and gray. I don't fear the burning like I used to at the start. The fire teaches if you keep an open heart. My grandson asked me last December if I had any advice to give. I said, son, just keep the fire. That's the only way to live. Not the panic and the burning, but the quiet, steady flame, the one that warms the room at midnight and that answers to your name. The fire teaches still burning, still learning. Nothing here belongs to me, not the fields, not the light, not the tree. I borrowed this sky for a season, and the sky didn't ask for a reason. I borrowed these years and these heartbeats, and this face looking back from the glass, and the voice of the woman who loved me, who is already part of the past. We are all just the tenants of moments, passing through what was here before. And the door we came in through behind us will be opened by someone else more. This don't make me sad like it used to. It has made me more careful instead about the borrowed time still remaining between the living and the dead. Borrowed sky above me, borrowed ground below, borrowed voice inside me, borrowed love I know. I will give it back in full, with interest and with care. The borrowed sky, the borrowed life was more than I could bear to hold without the gratitude I didn't have before. Borrowed sky, you taught me everything. The moon is borrowed silver, and the stars are rented light, and I sit in the borrowed quiet of this temporary night. Still here. I've been talking all these years into the dark and the field and the years, into the fire and the dust and the road, into the silence that carried my load. And the silence never answered back, not with a word, not with a fact, but it held everything I said, the way the earth holds the dead. The quiet is not the absence of sound, it's the sound of everything else unwound, down to the one true note below that only the honest come to know. I spent my years running from still, running from the valley and the hill, until one morning I sat down and let the quiet finally come around. What the quiet knows, I am just beginning knows the weight of every word unspoken. It knows the shape of everything that's broken. It holds the names of all the ones who stayed, and all the ones who walked into the shade. What the quiet knows is what I now know too. The quiet holds the flame, and the flame holds you. So I put the guitar down tonight in this field under the last of light, and I listen to the whole world breathe, to what the silence has beneath. And I finally understand at last that the future holds me like the past, that the fire and the quiet are the same, and both are calling out my name. What the quiet knows has always been right here. The quiet holds the flame, and the flame